I don't know what this is about. He's like, my instinct will guide this ship. The Metabarons, Part 2, Honorata. I'm going to call it Honorata. I'm not going to pronounce the H. It just seems right to me. It's been a long, long time since I read Metabarons. Probably over 10 years. I think I remembered this one, but I didn't remember just exactly how wild this book is. These guys were mad. These guys were absolute mad lads. So if you don't remember, in the first book, we met Othon van Salza, how he became the big baron and with all his metabaronic weapons, how he lost his junk and just became a kind of crazy loner, essentially. Where's my Johnson? That guy exactly. Othon van Salza. And as all Metabarons book starts, we start with the two little weird robots telling their story about, you know, this and that. Get a bit of an intro into the world. You know, they talk. They're like, they make C-3PO and R2-D2 look like manly men. They're very you just got to read it. I mean, it is weird, but you know, that's what you expect from these books. Everything is kind of weird. We get a little bit of a glimpse of the current Metabaron at work, kicking butt, cashing checks, taking names, you know, all that stuff. Doing his interphasing stuff. But really, this story is, as you can see here, these two robots. So this robot here is telling this robot the story of the Metabarons, essentially. And that's where we started with the first one. That's where we're continuing on. Now we're getting to Honorata, which is, we will find out who she is in a moment. So here's Othon, just, you know, in all his castrated glory, killing robots and training. But he's whiling away his days with his two concubines. That's his two concubines, and that's their father. And they're all servant slaves, and they all adore him. And they do anything for him, essentially. And he's just sitting here watching the galactic news, and he's seeing the long-awaited miracle. Finally, the Emperor and Empress have finally conceived a child. So he's like, oh, that's a dangerous thing. That child is going to be the target of pirates. And it's some weird Siamese child. It's going to be the future Janus Jana Empress, future master of the galaxy. All right, if you say so. And then they're trying to transport it from the science world where it was created, fertilized, to the Emperor's world. But they run into this planet that's actually not a planet. It's a giant pirate ship disguised as a planet. And like 100,000 pirate ships come out to attack it. So it's the biggest space battle ever seen. And the Empresses, is it the Imperial Majesties? Let's just say that they put a call out to the whole galaxy to come defend their unborn baby in the. I don't know what this is about. He's like, my instinct will guide this ship. All right. I mean, this looks like the joystick up here. I don't know what's going on down here. And the ship itself is quite phallic. Now, remember, Jodorowsky is the guy who hired Geiger to work on the Dune adaptation, if you remember. So this was happening all around. I think he does, but he doesn't have a D because he got chopped off. So I guess he's got like his own prosthetic one that he steers with. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. This book is wild. It is madness. It's madness personified. Anyway, he steers right to the Imperial Majesties' place. He's somehow able to get past all of their defenses, and they're just completely shocked. And they're like, how did you even get here? And he's like, silence. And you know, he just kills all of them because he's the great baron. And he walks right through. He bores a hole in their door, and he walks right up to them and says, allow me to lead the charge against the pirates, and I will get back your child. And that's essentially pretty much what he does. He goes in there and he uses asteroids and kills all the pirates. It's crazy. and great. But then on the way back, the Imperials are like, you take the rear now. We will deliver the child back. He's like, F that. He goes in, kidnap the child himself. And look at this, even this. Like, this is the artist is Juan Giménez. So here's him in the spaceship flying into where the child is kept. I don't know, are you guys seeing anything? I'm seeing something, but pass your own judgment. I don't know. Up to you. All right. So continuing on, he does end up getting the fetus it's called the egg. You take the rear now. Don't mind if I do. What do you think that looks like? Well, look, I'll let your imagination. Nothing to see here. It's just a spaceship. It's just a 2 spaceship docking. Mind out of the gutter. You can't keep your mind out of the gutter in this book. Anyway, so he does deliver the egg, and the Imperial Majesties grant him the title of Metabaron. So he's the greatest baron of all the barons. And the Emperor says, I'll give you any gift you want. And he's like, you know what I want, but you can't gift it to me because he's lost his junk. He wants a son to, have an heir to his kingdom that he's building. But he says, you can't get that to me. So anyway, he goes back, to his planet. He's riding look, he's so sad, riding his horse. He's hanging out with his concubines. And then they're like, your gift has arrived. He's like, I don't want it. He's like, all right, I'll tell it to go away. But the gift finds its way in itself. He's like, what the hell? All right, now the next pages I might have to skip pretty quickly because they do get a little bit nude. I guess Bancroft is our resident docking expert. So anyway, the gift is a whore priestess of the Shabda Oud. And I'm just going to zoom out here and just go kind of quickly on it. So there you go. There's the whore priestess. Actually, if I zoom in down here, it should be... there we go. You kind of see her down there. The whore priestess. And a little bit of... Anyway, she does this spell on him. And he kind of falls in love with her straight away. She does this kind of like mind meld thing, eye meld, and tells his existing concubines to get the hell out. I got a new one now. And I'm just trying to see what I can show here. Yeah. So anyway, he's like, my love, I can't please you. Look at what's there instead of my junk. And she's like, destiny has made a mockery of me. But she has other plans. Don't you worry about it. So she's like, don't worry, my love. He's like, I'm the last of the Von Salzas. Like, no, you won't be. Look, I'll take a drop of your blood. All right, then I don't know if I can show the next page. Yeah. We saw nothing, says D-Rail. I'm trying to, put the stick shift back on. I know, right? At least give her something to do. Okay, so that is him taking that blood and inserting it into her womb. I don't think I need to say much more than that, but there is a kind of a picture of them together. I don't think I'm going to move it though, because we're getting very, very close to the limits of my artistic, friendly, guideline friendly artistry limits here. So I'll just skip on to the next page, and it does sort of skip forward. So it happened. He was able to inseminate her with a drop of blood, essentially. And now we're skipping forward. She's about to give birth, and her slave, who's the father of his 2 concubines, is like, they've become jealous and they've taken your new wife to the top of the tower. So they want to kill her because they think she's a witch that's bewitched him. Hang on, I can zoom out now. Yeah, they want to throw her off a tower and themselves as well, to end the hold that they have over him. So he grabs his gun, rushes up there, and no. It's too late. They jump off. Othon, I love you. And he has to time it perfectly, and he shoots her right in the baby. And you're like, what the hell? But then, look, the two concubines fall to their death, but the wife stays floating. And you're like, what the hell is going on? So they smash against the thing. And he's like, I shot you with a dart that makes you float, because he has that. Because, you know, he's the great Othon van Salza. And she floats. So can I show that? I don't think I could show the next page. Let me describe it for you. The epithite, which is the thing that makes her float, is affecting her organic system, triggering a delivery. Yeah, right in the baby. So I think I'm just gonna, maybe I'll be quick about it. There you go. Whoa. Yeah. So the baby is born right there, floating in the air. Anyway, he takes a little spaceship out there. He grabs her, saved her. Everything's good. You know, he's the slave has hung himself out of shame. The baby is born, and now he's saying, after this incident, no one on this planet will be able to enter the no one is able to enter his temple anymore. Just robots and his wife after this betrayal. But anyway, he's got his baby now. All right, now things can calm down. He's got his robots. He's got his wife. No, things can't calm down, because now the baby starts floating. And it's like, oh my God. And then what do you think his response is to his baby floating? He's like, oh, I guess this is just like another, I mean, he's kind of disabled. His baby's has this weird affliction. No, he grabs a knife. And he's like, I must kill it, because it will never be able to fight like a warrior, because it'll have nothing to, it won't be able to stand on solid ground. You're like, oh, okay. Whew. All right. So she does manage to save the baby from being killed, and she puts metal things on his ankles to keep him on the ground, but is like, he'll never walk right. He'll never be a great warrior. She ends up convincing him that she's going to take him away until the age of 7 and train him. That is an ugly baby. Yeah, I guess they didn't want to like make you sympathetic for the baby, you know. She's going to train him to be a warrior in her Shabadoo ways, her whore priestess ways, and then when he comes back, well, you'll see. It is wild. And then Mo says, and we shall name him Huck. No, this isn't the beginning. Why is she such a effing hoe? Look, it is what it is. Yeah, it's the Shabbat. It's how she was raised. These were great. I like these. These are little what are these things called? These I don't know. Carnivorous eodactyls. Oh, that was just a really cool little breather from this insanity. Anyway, they managed to escape them, and man, this book is weird. I loved it though. I love it, but it's weird. Yeah, so she takes him off into these icy crystal mountains where these hairy toads come in to live off their warmth, and they eat them. And then when he comes of age, he has to kill his best friend, hairy toad, to prove that he is a warrior. I mean, he just keeps going. She submits him to like crazy pain resistance things. You know, you can't, it's just nonstop like training and fighting. He finally bests her, and it's the only moment of affection that he ever gets from her in his entire childhood. Anyway, it's time to come back. They capture a e-dactyl and fly it back to the Baron. And even after all that, the Baron is like, my love, I've missed you so. Yeah, but now he's like, now it's time to test my son. So he has to fight this thing. And if the son dies, the Baron will kill himself. And if the son lives, he will become the next Metabaron, essentially. It's a very harsh childhood. Anyway, so the kid he has to essentially touch the button on the front of this machine, and that'll self-destruct it. So he has to be able to get up there. But mind you, he's all weighed down because if he takes off his metal, he floats and everything. So anyway, and after every hour that they fight, a new arm will grow on the robot. So he ends up fighting an 8-armed machine that is about to kill him, but he uses his wits and he takes off his metal and he starts floating around. So he uses the floating to be able to get in and disable the thing and blow it up. And the Baron is like, he didn't win, he cheated. She's like, no, you said if you can blow it up, he'll live. And he's like, I have to stand by my word. And now it gets harsh. You thought that was fine. No. So now the last test, he's beaten the thing, but the final test is pain resistance. So he puts the child in this machine that's going to stick things in it. So if you read Dune, you'd see like he's taking a lot of similar things from that. So essentially he has to resist the pain, but the son is so kind of out to prove himself. He doesn't even want the machine to stop. So it just keeps crushing and crushing and crushing until it fully crushes his feet into nothing. So that's when the Metabaron accepts him as his heir and his new Baron and gives him some metal feet. And it's like, oh, finally, our family can be together again. That's like, right. Yeah. That was me when I got my feet measured as a kid at the shoe store. I mean, this book is crazy. And I don't remember that part. So probably I didn't actually read that much of the Metabarons, it turns out. This is craziness. So that's the second Metabaron. Put the crack bite down. It is very intense, but the artwork is gorgeous. And Jodorowsky, it is a really good story. As crazy as it is a really good story, and I'm really, really looking forward to reading more. Because I think it's just going to get even more bizarre and nuts. Because I know from the first one that essentially each new son has to have a piece of their body destroyed and then have a prosthetic attached to it, and then that son has to grow up and kill the previous Baron to become the Metabaron. That's how it works. So I'm guessing it's going to be pretty intense. Mo says Mama Baron said they were his magic feet, said they'd take him anywhere. Oh, that one was something else. Cranberry says, yeah, wait until the 3rd and 4th. I'm going to give myself a month, I think, to come down off this. All this happened because the Dune movie never took off. Yeah, and he was like, well, screw these guys. I'm going to make my own Dune, and it's going to be even crazier. Kid's going to kick like a mule. Well, he better. He's going to need to.